first, we got some rather sad news for the MLB and for the Colorado Rockies. Daniel Murphy has announced his retirement after 12 seasons in Major League Baseball. He played his first 7 years with the Mets, the next 2.5 seasons with the Nationals, a half season with the Cubs, and his final 2 seasons with the Colorado Rockies. He was a NL MVP candidate for the Nationals in 2016, and he was a key piece of the Mets World Series team in 2015, which ultimately they lost that year to the Kansas City Royals. But anyway, let me give you some stats from his 2016 MVP candidate year. He batted .347 and led the National League with a 5.95 slugging percentage and 985 OPS, hitting 25 home runs and a league-leading 47 doubles with 104 runs batted in. The Nats won the NL East with Murphy and finished in second to Chris Bryant in the MVP race. I'm pretty sure Chris Bryant won that year. As for career numbers, Daniel Murphy finished with a career with a .296 batting average, 1,572 hits, 138 home runs, and 735 RBIs. And this was confirmed by Daniel Murphy himself. So I'll start with you first, Mario. What do you think of Daniel Murphy retiring?
First of all, I just want to say congratulations to Daniel Murphy on a very successful MLB career. Like you said, I mean, 12 seasons in the MLB, it's obviously something that you really got to look back on. And I mean, when you look at him, like 3-time All-Star, former National League MVP candidate, I mean, there's really NLCS MVP. There's really, I mean, he's obviously done a lot of stuff in this sport. Now, Hall of Fame numbers, that's for somebody else to decide. You know, Hall of Fame, MLB Hall of Fame is one of the hardest Hall of Fames to get into. So, will he be a Hall of Famer? I'm not quite sure, but I know one thing for sure: Daniel Murphy was a great player. I remember him I remember him personally on the Nationals. That's why I remember him from. I just remember the name popping up, and I remember he was such a good utility player. And I mean, obviously, like during his time with like the during that MVP season, he was much more than a utility player. And obviously, there's a lot of the teams that he was part of, which was the Rockies, the Mets, and the Nationals. There's so much more that they can tell you about him than we can. But I mean, I want to say this. I want to say throughout his career, he was one of the very underlooked players. If that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never really looked at him as a big star, considering the fact that he was a National League candidate, MVP candidate, you know? Like, when we talked about best players in the MLB, we talked during, like, the past few years, we've talked about Chris Bryant. We've talked about Mike Trout. We talked about Javier Baez, Mookie Betts, Aaron Judge, Jose Altuve, so many names, you know what I'm saying? Nolan Arenado, so many names, but we never talked about Daniel Murphy, considering the fact that he was a former MVP. When we talk about MLB All-Stars, you know, the ones that come up in my mind is like, especially with the Rockies, it's like Charlie Blackmon, and it's like Nolan Arenado, Javier Baez, Chris Bryant. Help me out here. I know there's a lot more. During around that time, Yasiel Puig was a good one. And like, you know what I'm saying? We never really talked about Daniel Murphy. And I mean, this is a guy who deserves a lot of respect. He's done a lot of great things in baseball. I don't think he's ever won a World Series. I don't think he's ever won a World Series, but he's been to one, something that a lot of players can't say. And I mean, when you really look at it, again, 2-time Silver Slugger winner as well. When you look at it, he's been a great player for the league. And I think the MLB will truly miss him.
Yeah, I know I'm going to miss him. You know, this was a guy that, you know, in my opinion, I kind of feared every time he faced the Red Sox. You know, he was just a great hitter, great utility player, like you said. I just really wish he would have won a World Series, maybe an MVP. You know, at least get him even higher in the talk for the Hall of Fame. So I agree. I don't know. I'm not sure if he'll even make the Hall of Fame. That's up for the BBWAA to decide. But as for career-wise, yeah, he was very underlooked. You know, this was a guy that I talked about a lot when he was playing. You know, I remember him, mostly with the New York Mets. That's how I usually remember him. I am going to be honest. I forgot he actually played for the Cubs and for the Rockies. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of forgot about that being real, but. I mean, you know, it would have been nice to see him win an MVP. It would have been nice to see him win a World Series. Unfortunately, that year the Royals were the better team. They just proved that. Well, I'm pretty sure he'll go to the Mets Hall of Fame. Maybe he will. That's another honorary thing to have. So, with that said, I think Daniel Murphy for everything he's done for the game of baseball, both on and off the field. And I congratulate him for a great career. Enjoy retirement. I wish you well in retirement, and I'm gonna miss you, man.